Today has been a very full Monday, and it started with a tea ceremony. And I thought I would share my experience with you because it was so unique. I always tell you all to do something different, to get out of your comfort zone. And this tea ceremony just kind of fell in our lap. So my husband was playing pickleball with somebody, and this guy does these tea ceremonies. And I said, "Oh, that sounds interesting. I've never done a tea ceremony here. Let's go check it out." So we looked at the calendar, and the only date that they were had available was for today. And so this place gets booked up. Like the sessions for tea ceremonies were booked. So we go to this morning. We had to be there right at 7 a.m. It starts right at 7 a.m. And it's a tea ceremony. So you take your shoes off and you go and you sit at this little round piece of wood table. And there's cushions to sit. So you're sitting like on cushions like you would meditation. The entire ceremony is silent. There's no directions other than if you need to go to the bathroom, where it is. And you experience this tea ceremony with 8 other people, 7 people total, 8 people total, seven. I was one. So 8 total. Okay. My numbers. Okay, so we are having this with 8 people. Everybody's silent. Male and females are there. There are 2 facilitators who facilitate this. One who actually facilitates the bowl ceremony, which is the filling up of the bowls. So there are multiple tea bowl experiences. Only one tea is served. Of course, I didn't know this. I thought we got a new fresh bowl of tea, like fresh tea every time, but you don't. Um, so you have this ceremony, and all the bowls are poured at the same time in like a sequence, and and then once everybody has their bowl of tea, and it is piping hot water. It is so hot, this tea. And then you hold the bowl, but you don't want to hold it. I mean, I don't know if there's a particular way to hold the bowl. I noticed that the people that seem more practiced at this practice hold the bowl a particular way. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just listening to my intuition. So I hold the bowl and I'm just like listening. And as I'm listening, I'm getting messages. So the first message I get is, I'm going to share with you. The first message I get is, the truth of the light is the light. And so this is the message I get as I'm, just listening to my tea. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. The truth of the light is the light. So here I'm like repeating this in my mind, like, oh, the truth of the light is the light. That's fascinating. Oh, this is interesting. And then I'm just sitting there, drinking my tea, and I get another message, which is, the light is the isness of the oneness in which you are. This is so so I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. That's deep. It's like 7:15 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I got to meditate more. This is really good stuff. Of course, I can talk to nobody, right? So I just write this note down really quickly in my phone, and I put my phone down to go back to my tea, and I'm like holding this hot, scalding hot tea in my hand. And so then, everybody's done. They put their bowls down, and then there's another round of tea. Everybody sits in silence. There's no talking this entire time. Sits in time. Second bowl comes down, and then it said, and then the tea said, "May the light within me illuminate my path." I thought, well, that's quite profound. I'm just sitting here listening, drinking my tea, right? I'm like looking at it, I'm sensing it, I'm listening. It's quiet. It's like, wow. this is really interesting. And I was like, okay, this is like bowl number 3. And then I got another message on this one. I got 2. May the light of each being before me show me more of myself to shine. And I thought, I'm just like, what is going on here? This is fascinating. And I'm just like really loving this experience. But now I'm also, I've had like 2 cups of tea. We're now going on the third one. I'm getting kind of full. It's a lot of tea. And then it says, so again, it's quiet. I pick up my bowl and I'm just like listening. And it says, the light of the world is within you. May I be open to the expression of the light. Uh-huh. Which is really about what I talked about yesterday, yes, all being willing to express ourselves, less constriction, more expression. I was like, wow, that's really profound. And I put my bowl down. I was like, okay, I'm like done with the tea for now. Like, this is a lot of water. I already had my lemon water before I went. I'm like full on tea at this point. But I really don't want to miss out on these messages because I'm like, this is really interesting, right? So what else am I going to learn? What else? What other messages? And of course, it's like dead silent. And also, I'm also very mindful at this point that I have not sat in the yoga pose for more than 20 minutes. That sitting yoga pose, and my knees are really sore at this point. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I really got to work on my knee strength because I used to be able to sit in that pose for like 45 minutes, no problem. I mean, I'd be sore, but not like I was this morning. And so I was like very aware of um, my leg going numb. I'm like, whoa, I really need to focus on my knee strength, which is something I had decided earlier in the week, last week. But I was reaffirmed during the session in that sitting, like, wow, I really need to do this more. And then another bowl comes. And this is the 4th bowl. And I already knew, like, I am so full of tea, but I don't want to miss this message. So I get the bowl and I like waited, I paused. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And it's not that much tea, but it's like a bowl. Like the bowl is like the size of your hand and it's not filled to the rim, but it's filled. It's a nice portion of tea. And it says, and I'm just listening. Okay. I'm just listening to this bowl of tea. It says, you are the culmination of the light you are a culmination of all the light that ever was and ever is. You are the past, the present, and the future of the light that will always be. I was like, damn, this is some strong, this is some strong tea. And so I put it down. And again, this is me just having this experience all by myself. Like at this point, I'm in tears and my eyes are watering, but I'm like, whatever. And so put the bowl down and I'm like, okay, well, I can't miss this next tea. I mean, this is number 6. And number 6, and so I get this bowl of tea and I'm looking at my husband because my husband's next to me. And I'm also very, very aware that my husband does not like his anything hot, like temperature hot. I like my stuff hot, but I don't even like my tea that hot. And it's like scalding hot. So I'm like looking at him like blowing on his water and I'm like laughing. I'm like giggling. Nobody is doing anything. So it does not seem as if laughing is a welcome thing here, but I'm just like, I couldn't stop. So we're like giggling that he's like, first of all, I can't even believe he had that many bowls of water that were that hot. And I was very impressed. But now I'm like, this is my first time looking at him during this whole experience because we're all having our own experiences, right? And I just started giggling. He starts giggling. Now we start giggling. And so now I get my message. This is the final message. I am an immortal being of light. The light of love never dies. It is time, it is time, it is time to shine. And that was my final bowl of tea. And we put our bowls down, everybody's done. And then there's like a space to everybody share their tea, whatever you want to share. It's like a space to share. Nobody's really saying anything. So, but I always, I was just really grateful to have this profound experience of tea. I never could have imagined how beautiful it could be. And people are asking different questions like, why are there 6 bowls of tea? What does it mean? What does it mean when because she does it almost like an infinity throughout all the teas. So everything is weaved in as one. That's how I perceived it, anyways. And then at the very end, this girl asks, "What kind of tea was that that you served us?" And it's called Inner Light. So here I am getting all these messages about the light, and that's the name of the tea, Inner Light. I mean, I'm still a little taken back that I had such an amazing communion with this tea, of which I had no idea that a tea ceremony could be so incredibly profound. That's my first silent tea experience that I've had with a group of people. Um, I found it to be just, it's been with me all day long. Um, the and then at the end, I didn't say this to anybody, and at the end, after everybody broke, I asked, well, can I share with the facilitator, can I share with you what I received? And she just said, well, that's a beautiful affirmation of the tea. And I was saying, hell yeah, it was. So I'm just going to read this to you again so you can have it all in one. And I will put it into the description. But it was so incredibly profound. I'm still sitting with the experience, as you can tell. I thought it was so different, so enjoyable, so incredibly peaceful. Highly recommend if you guys can find a tea ceremony in your area. I thought it was exceptionally well executed and very enjoyable. I would do it again. I don't know how often, but it definitely, I got a lot of messages from it. So I will read to you my communion with the tea called the Inner Light as follows. The truth of the light is the light. The light is the isness of the oneness in which you are. May the light within me illuminate my path. May the light of each being before me show me more of myself to shine. The light of the world is within you. May I be open to the expression of light. The truth of who I am is the light. You are a culmination of all the light that ever was and ever is. You are the past, the present, and the future of the light that will always be. I am an immortal being of the light. The light of love never dies. It is time, it is time, it is time to shine. I never could have imagined such a profound experience from a tea ceremony. And so, may you shine your light bright. I'm Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. Cheers.